Hey everybody, DayTraderRockStar here with the high probability watch list for the week of, and it's going to go into November, give me a second, November 18th to the 22nd. What a fantastic end of the week. Craziness happening all around. If you know what I mean, if you've been watching the market here is not stopping for anybody. It's crushing the shorts. It just continues to push higher. Every pullback has been a buying opportunity, and and from what I hear, on our show in the market, everyone is like, not believing it, testing the waters on their shorts, getting run over, and basically almost accepting it. You almost feel like the acceptance is here, and people are going to start to get in. Are we at that point yet? That's the one thing I always talk about. Market's not going to find a top until it sucks in those people from 2008 who don't believe. There's still a lot of money on the sidelines, and it's almost like you feel like the market here continues to push up. No one believes it. There's kind of I saw a mention in the chat room today. It's the most hated bull market in the world. All these things are going on, yet the market continues to push higher. And I always say the market knows all. It's a device that really reads the internals of the economy. It doesn't run on emotion, but it does run on algorithms. So that's something to be taken into effect too, because the way this market is just continued to just search out and destroy people on top of it who are trying to short this thing down. It continues to push against them and push against it. You're getting up here, and eventually, maybe there's nothing there. We're going to have that blow off top. I thought today maybe there was a shot for a sell-off, and then if we go back to the morning, I actually did a great video, and that video is going to be included. If you didn't watch it yet, I think I posted it on YouTube. It's just a fast educational video. But when Paul was on the air today, I was able to do a little trading myself in the morning. So I was watching this, and we came early morning. The market sold off pretty fast. And I remember Paul was being short here, and he was asking, where do you want to take that off? And I said, probably into the VWAP. So it came to, then I said, you know what, that's not my decision. I'm not going to be responsible for anything. What if it continues moving down? So I'm like, you know what, I'm not, I said, keep it on, whatever, do whatever you want to do. But during that process, I noticed, because I was focused on the market, and that's one of the better things, that's how you become successful, is you have to be focused on the market. You got to be so focused that you're feeling it, you understand it, you see the similar techniques over and over again. So this was a typical flag, and again, I'm not going to go into the whole flag. I want to add a video to this HPS watch list. There'll be 2 videos on the list. Watch that one. It's a really good description of this bear flag and what we need to do to capture it each morning. So anyway, bear flag, took some trades. It was great. The market continued to rally back up, and then you could just smell the pain coming to the shorts. It's just like I did not believe any spike and any beginning of a pullback, rip right back up. It was just, and you know what? It's going to be hard to predict when that rug gets pulled. It might get pulled on a weekend. You might open up, and the futures, futures might open up 100 points down, and that's going to trap a lot of people, of course. But there might not be a lot of people up here, and that's why it's continued to push higher. Algorithms, eating up the shorts, and we'll see what happens going forward. Don't call on this. There's really no technical call other than continue with the trend. I will show you the S&P 500 cash chart. And that's a kind of a breakout here, There's nothing wrong with this. This is actually extremely bullish. The only thing I say is now I've been skeptical on breakouts, because usually breakouts then trap some. Then we have those reversals too. But this is so hard to say how this is going to play out. What's been easy is just, taking the HPS setups, understanding divergences and the flags. And I think that's where you have to concentrate at this level in the market, or be involved in the stocks I'm about to show you right now. Why I say that is because I'm focused on, right now, things that are obviously stronger stocks. Stocks that will protect you, but will also continue to move higher. These are the ones I'm going to be looking at, and the rotations on it. Maybe tomorrow or maybe Monday, it might not be the best setup, but these are great setups. I'm in a lot of these, like the Medtronics that we're going to talk about. The Boeing here at this level is really good. We crushed it on LK today. There's a lot of different things that we're going to be talking about. All right, so let's just start off here. No real market radar to speak of because of the levels and the extension. But what I will say is, wow, if we gapped up on Monday, I would short this market with some SPY puts. All right, SPY puts on gap up on Monday. So I already got that up on my note. Right when I walk in, it's right on my piece of paper right in front of me because we are extended. We are super extended. The last time we got super extended, eventually we pulled back. Markets tend to gap and then drag back, gap up and then reverse and push back. So any type of gap up, it might be part of a continuing bull thing, but that's what I'm going to take a shot on. I haven't taken a shot on anything this week on the short side other than maybe a couple of ES contracts and MES contracts, but nothing hedging yet. And I might be wrong next week, but if we have a gap up, that's what I'm willing to try, a gap up. Other than that, if it starts off down 6, 7 points, 5, 4, 3, 2 points, probably going to concede, do the same thing it's been doing. Open up, jiggle around, and then take off to new highs. I would be shorting a gap up with a safety, with a safety short, probably SPY puts. That way we're not, getting run over and squeezed, and we're just going to be, taking a shot there. So that's the market radar. Stocks that I wanted to concentrate on today. We actually had Medtronic hit its target right at the close. This is one of my favorites, and I've been banging the table on for a breakout, and here it is. Breakout happening right now. I have some close friends in this. I called them up today. I said, hold steady. They're going to be earnings out next week. I expect good things out of the earnings, but as we know, earnings is a complete gamble. So it is up to you to determine if you want to hold into earnings or not. Or everything else. But you know what? I'm probably going to sell a little before earnings and hold just a couple contracts, just, with house money. But I would probably, and again, what are those earnings? Let me tell you fast here. Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry about that. You could tell I had an espresso for dinner, and I'm like all fired up. But I think it makes for a better video. So we're looking at the calendars here. Let's just look at Medtronic MDT. Earnings call is November 19th before the market. So that's Tuesday before the market. Tuesday. So Monday, we have Monday. Probably going to go follow through on Monday. It'll be a good time to lighten up on this. Definitely a good time to lighten up on that. Medtronic. Any type of pullback, of course, we want to be back in that. But that hit its target today. Let's show you the HPS setup on that. All right. I'll show you that in a second here. All right, let's take a look at the HPS watch list. This is the current HPS watch list that goes out each week, updated each week. And like I said, we were going to just take a look at a couple that were actually giving everyone a look at this. Today we actually had one that hit its target, and that was MDT. So let me get that one. We want to show you that one. Where is it? It was just here. I just had it. I just saw it hit its target. There we are. So when it's green, that means it's triggered and it's active. When it says watching, it hasn't hit its buy or short zone yet. If it is gold, that means it hit its target before hitting its stop. And if it's red before gold, it hit its stop before hitting its target. So we're actually going to take a look at the MDT. I don't know where my eyes are. So there we are. Just so you click on it, you get this. And then basically the video that you're listening to now will be going over these new positions and stuff and anything new and describing what this. Now, we knew that we wanted to get back into this. It was a longer term trade. Gave it a lot of room to move, but it really just consolidated sideways and finally today actually started to break out. I wanted to see this happen like at this point and move up. It just took a little more time. And again, we talked about that going into next week. So next week, I do expect it to move a little further in there. But taking profits at this point from our entry zone, you're in the money either way. So let's kind of look at the rest of these while we're here. Waste management. Still love this one. I think it's a great setup. Again, it's what we call a 200 EMA channel line bounce, another HPS setup. And this is actually up there. I would say this is probably the number 3 setup. We talk about number 1, 2, and 3 of HPS setups. If I, put it in the bracket orders and stuff, I'd say the 200 EMA breakdown channel line bounce would probably be coming in number 3 after the Bull and Bear 2020 flags, and then of course the ultimate divergence setup that we like so well. So this is the, and we came down into our buy zone perfectly. Waste management. We had a nice move yesterday. We're still holding on to it. We're looking for our profits. I think next week it should be an easy test of that, and probably even push back up to that trend line. And from that point on, you might even get a pullback before this moves higher. But again, we nailed this one. Nailed it. It's continued to be long. All right, here is Anaplan. PLAN is a symbol. And again, it was a 200 EMA. But all these stocks in this sector, this is like a software application, cloud software. All of them have a very similar setup. And now there's about 3 of them, 4 of them we watch. Coop, Anaplan, PLAN, Team, TEAM, and ServiceNow. Those are about the 4. There might be one more that I might be missing. Team, Coop, Plan, ServiceNow. There's a couple other ones. And they all came into these type of patterns on the pullback. Coming down to the 200 period moving average. Pretty decent channel. So we look for the pullback here. In lots of cases, the stronger stocks won't break the 200. So this is kind of telling us in 2 things. One is this sector is strong. It's a strong sector because you can see now if I push this, we never got down to our buy signal. It held at 200, popped through the candle or through the channel top, pulled back to the channel, and then right now chopping around. So does it come back down? I don't know. I mean, it hasn't activated. I don't think I will keep it active because at that point, if it started coming back down, again, we need something underneath us as a support line to buy into. So if anything, I would buy it off this lower trend line. So this is not active. We'll probably end up taking that one off. All right, so plan here. 3M. Like the 3M, this was a classic, based off of this pattern. This is a nice, I'm going to push this out a bit for you. Now, if you go all the way out here, you could see this underlying trend line. It was a nice wedge pattern breakout, and we came down and we violated this trend line. And again, you hear me say this every single week, how important this is. This is probably number 4. It's just kind of a trend line recapture and a retest of it. So lots of times you'll bust through a trend line, you'll come up and test it, you'll come back through it, you'll test it, chop around it, it still makes it really valid. So every time it does come down to that level, you want to be, understanding that there could be a position here or a trade here. So once I break, once we really get through that one more time and we kind of hold up, I look for a small pullback into that trend line and then off to the races. So this was a perfect setup. It was kind of coiled up. I didn't even put in the trend line that actually was like here. It was another wedge pattern. Everything about this pointed to the highs. And we took this trade and we took it perfectly off of this lower trend line. And you can see what happened. We actually started moving up. Then there was a little news, but look what we came down. We tagged that trend line to the penny. To the penny. Reversed pretty good. The alert went out. And then we just moved right up to our target, which was the 200 and was the top of this trend line. If we extended this trend line out, it would pretty much bring us right into that zone. And that's what that target was based off of. So just textbook. I mean, right now, what are we going to do about it? We wait for the next setup. And those setups come each week. Now, this is our, I haven't mentioned this, but this is our week before Black Friday. We usually do an open house going into a kind of a little Black Friday sale for a lifetime membership. So this video you might be getting out there in YouTube land. This is something that goes out every week to the members of Day Trading Radio. And the things you're seeing here, the HPS Watch List, you get access to those as a member of Day Trading Radio. These alerts and these charts that are set up, automatically set up. I'm going to show you. And I apologize for the members also getting this, but this is very, I love what we do here. Here's another situation, lower trend line. It goes out like it's going out today. And we update it each week. And again, we usually take these trades, and you can see this came right down to the trend line. When that buy zone is hit, or that short zone, depending on what it is, an automatic email goes out and goes right to your email address and text messages if you want that. You just set it up on the site. It's very easy. Put in your text message. So you get alerts when your buy triggers are hit. And we put these in way before they come into play. Like, remember I said, this is when we put these out there, they're setting up into a position where this is what you get. And we're looking. So you're able to actually put these trades into your platform, even automate it in some ways. So we pulled back into it, pushed up, bang, boom. This actually looks pretty good going forward. We've taken this one again on the lower. We took profits this week. This was a trade of ours this week, and that was a good one. And it broke out today, so it continues to look good. So let's just go right down the list. Coop, PAYC. Now, I've been following this one. I didn't want to get into it. Again, this was kind of a what we call a channel within a channel. And I wasn't really, this is kind of a wish thing. If we ended up getting down there, this is very, very far off. And I said, well, I want to throw it out there because I see an old X marks the spot. Sometimes I like the candles up here where they come down and there's just a nice channel line. And then I said, well, all right, there's kind of a pivot here, make a parallel pivot. This area over here, if we could come down to it, I would like to, be aware of that. But knowing that's probably not going to happen. It ended up bouncing off the 200 up to the trend line, which we identified earlier. Came back down, but not down far enough, and then broke out. So again, never really qualified for that trade. It actually qualified for another trade. It was a lower trend line wedge pattern right here, and I didn't see that one actually, and I guess I should have seen that one because that was before. There was two good pivots here. All right, so that actually was a good setup. It was a little steep for a wedge pattern, but either way, it would have gave us another reference point. But I was looking for I think I remember when I sent this out, I said this is kind of a wish trade. If we actually get down here, we'll get the alert. So nothing gained, nothing lost on that one. PAYC, of course, team, like I mentioned, these are all setting up very similar. So we had a lot of these setups. Team here came down. Now we closed above that. We closed. I remember at the time of this, I said we're gonna modify these stops because when you come down, lots of times we'll close right on the trend line, and we want to be buying on that trend line. And that, in this case, instead of coming down and hitting it up here where I wanted to, this should be shifted down here, and the stop would be down here a little. So we ended up adjusting the stop down a little. It pushed up. Everything works fine on this. It's another textbook thing. I would say the part about this is, if you're trading and you're taking these HPS setups, each week we try to update you where to put the stops. And also they should be very, kind of moving and understanding why the stop is going there and why the buy signal is going there. That's because the price, we want it to line up with this parallel trend line. But say the price goes sideways for a while and then comes down and hits a trend line down here. Well, we want to buy that. That's not really a stop. That's actually a buy area. So this stop area right here should have been the green area, and the green that goes down as the price moves sideways and comes down. But that. That's what we're trying to teach you, and that's what you will eventually realize. VERU is another one I've traded in the past. I put out an alert on this because of the channel line, but I've never gone out. I haven't even followed it too much. It kind of ramped down and then it never broke down into our zone. Again, everything holding the 200 period moving average. These quality names. These are from the IBD 50, Investors Business Daily 50. So a lot of these stocks are very strong, and they seem to hold the 200 period moving average good. So a nice ramp up off of that. VeriSign. We're getting to some old ones now. These are from a couple weeks ago. I'm just reviewing everything with you. The same thing here with the VeriSign. This was a very fast move down. In this case, we had this bearish flag, You know, we talk about the bearish flag. Bearish flag actually on the 5-minute time frame, and on the and every time frame we look for that fast rotation and slow rotation on the 60. I mean, it is a good bear flag when you see this setup. You kind of expect a breakdown. So we expected the breakdown of what we call a capitulation of a channel. Typically pushes back into the channel, then tests it, and then moves higher in a sloppy fashion. It worked out perfect. It came right down into our buy zone. It was a few days before it hit our midpoint sell zone, chopped around, but that trade is over. It's an interesting pattern right now. I'd continue to watch it, possibly for an upside or a down. Yeah, we'll watch it. It's starting to consolidate. All right. American Tower. Talk about missing a big one. This is a very strong stock, and we talked about it last week. It was one of the best bets going into this week. I didn't expect it to come down here. It ended up giving us a divergence. I'm actually going to show you the divergence. So actually, look at this. We got about a couple pennies, a couple cents away from our trigger there, you know, when we came down. So we kind of held it, got so close to our trigger. The trigger was 197 low, and it looks like the low here was 202. Was that really? So it was a couple points away. Looks closer on the chart. But take a look at this, why we turned around and we actually liked this for a long. I'm going to show you right now. Sorry. Oh, AMT. That's right, AMT. My mind is going. All right. So we actually started to see this divergence spike here, holding the 200 period moving average, and there was a nice trend line here. So I did like this, you know, even though we have that trend line underneath us, we put the alert down there. We never got down there. It still looks good for a long. It's one of the stocks we talk about. If you're going to be in something good, every time it gets oversold, you probably should be in this one. And we continue to rotate this onto the watch list whenever it does set up, because it is one of those quality names. AMT. Let's see what else we have here. AMT. ServiceNow. Already hit. Eli Lilly hit. I wanted to look at, VERU. Let's take a look at VERU. And I'll do an update on these. These are some of the spec plays. I don't mess with pennies too much other than scalping them real fast, but this is a long-term hold I've been in. And it hasn't really moved too much, but we are looking for eventual positive news to bring this one up towards that $3 level. And, you know, we expect news before the end of the year. It's a drug company. They work on prostate cancer. That's a little more of a spec play there. AUPH, AMDT is old. And the LK, this is interesting. We traded the snot out of this today. Did a great job, too. Now, profit zone trigger 2715. So this was I remember when we traded this up to that level, and I said, you know, eventually this one will come back and take out the highs. Eventually this will. I don't know when, but eventually it will. So we've traded in and out of this multiple times on balances and things. It's drifted and drifted and drifted. And then look at today. Look where we went. Right up to our buy signal. We didn't activate it though. We didn't activate it. The high was 2731. 2731. I gotta take a look at why that didn't activate. It didn't stay up there long enough. Because it should have buy 15. I want to take a look at that. Well, let me see. Maybe it did. Maybe I'm just not paying attention here. No, it says it's watching. So let me check that right now. All right. Well, everything was set up properly. It just did not trigger on the pop there. It got very close to it. Probably just happened so fast. We have a 1-minute cron job that's kind of checking the prices and stuff. And I probably got up there and pulled back before that 1 minute. But it right up to the highs, and it looks like it'll probably trigger that early next week. We ended up trading out of that. I had shares. We got about 6-7 points on that. I had some options on it. I took profits on that. And then I bought some options going into December, the 25 calls, right after I got out of those common shares, because I felt like, hey, this is about to break IPO highs, and these things could run. So I wanted to be part of it. So I am back in it on those 25 December calls, just for a, who knows. I would love to get a big pop on this going into next week, and just for a trade. All right. The other stocks here I want to go over fast. All right, we went over the AMT. All right, the McDonald's, that's the one I really wanted to concentrate on here going into next week. Actually, what is going on with that? Zoom down here a little. We're going to expand that chart a bit so you can see exactly what's going on. All right, MCD, McDonald's, broke down to the trend line, pushed back. Again, same situation. Pull back. Now that we have triggered that, we actually triggered that. And there was an old trade on that. Now it's pulled back. Now I switched this for a buy above that 195 area, 195.62. Really just to kind of get us through that recent high right there. That would be very very bullish, and that's still in a watching phase. But that looks really good going into next week. So this has got to be one of the best bets. We still like that one a lot. And the next one here that we got to, again, we probably went over some of these. The waste management still looks fine. Like to take some profits on that. This is a very good rotation. We haven't gotten overbought yet. I think we're actually going to probably eventually break through this downward channel. We'll get up a little bit further, take some profits, maybe try to get a pullback. If not, we did well off that lower trend line. Another position I started this week was Costco going into the Walmart earnings, and I was on top of that. I had a nice little profit on it, kind of drifting now, but you can see we're pushing right up against the highs. The nice stochastic rotation is still very strong. Just not moving too much today. I would give it a couple days. I think we can break out. And that's where we are right on that one, Costco, C-O-S-T. Again, the breakout level on this would 307.59. 307.59. We get through that. That would be significant. And, I'm already in it. You already know where we're looking for this. Let's put in a trend line alert. Extend that. And set an alert. All right, and then across, and that's okay, and that alert is created just to make sure we're on top of that. But I have that, so I'm going to be on top of it for you. But I'll let you know if that does break that trend line. Let's see what else. We want to take a look at the AUPH. This is our other spec stock, and again with the lupus drug. Maybe 2 weeks out before data is released. This one had earnings yesterday. It had a little pop today. It's getting held back up here. About 550 is a level we're not getting through 550. But again, we're still waiting for earnings to come out. Data, the phase 3 data to come out. And as we get closer to that, they say they expect it before Thanksgiving. Definitely probably before December. So the clock is going on this. Volume is starting to pick up. It'd be interesting to see this have a pre-data run, or do they try to shake it out one more time? I'm in it to win it. That's the update as much as I can tell you. Earnings were good. They're very confident in the results that they expect, and they have a team that they're building. And I would recommend everyone to go to the AUPH Arena Pharmaceutical website and download their recent conference call from the earnings, and it kind of goes back. It goes through the drugs and stuff, so it's a good update for everyone who's not familiar with this one. So we're looking for good positive news, and within 2 weeks, we expect a big move out of this. Big move. I mean, anything over $8, I would be happy with. I'm always very conservative on everything. There's a lot of talk of this thing easily doubling. And then the price or the target price, which is never really, I don't put too much into analyst target price. It's $14 to $16 if they came out with okay results, and much higher if they came out with super positive results. Up to $40 people throw around that number. But again, you have to stick away from that, because after all said and done, it might not move that much. But it should move. Definitely should move on the earnings. Same thing with the VERU. Same thing with the EXEL, which I'm in. EXEL has some drugs in the pipeline, and this is starting to hold off of that trend line. Again, love to see some follow through to the upside on this. Here is one that's a new one that I got into. Another kind of this is a acreage, AG, what is it? A foreign company, a cannabis stock that Deep Throat got me into. I picked up some shares on this, right down at this level, based on his knowledge of what they're doing with the real estate and what the real estate is worth and stuff. So it's kind of a long shot, I'd feel much better on just a trending, a higher high and a higher low would really kick this thing in. I would feel much better about it. Right now, consolidated inside day. Next week will be pivotal on this, because we've been seeing a series of lower lows and lower highs. So we can actually start to break out of that trend. Then that would be a bullish signal, and I think you could probably get in this one for a little move, and who knows how far. This guy is usually on top of his stuff when it comes to the financials. So ACRGF, Acreage Holdings. They do cannabis, land, a lot of different things about cannabis. Leasing of the land. Just in my scanning here, I just came across, and I never traded it before, but California Water Service Group, and I like water companies for some reason. It's a necessity. And right away I spotted this underlying trend line and a reversal candle. Jumped down at me. The price level here at $50 is not bad at all, and just trading off the highs is not bad. So whenever we have a big reversal candle, you could actually see the stochastics have been turning up for the last day or two. This one didn't really turn down, but turned back up. Might be considered a divergence. Very hard, but between everything, the lower trend line, the 200 period moving average, the lower trend line bounce off the 200 period moving average breakdown would be set up either way. With a candlestick like this, it actually looks pretty good. The range here, 50 to 50. Let's see, it's 50, 25, 51. I think there's a point in this. California Water Center. You would think maybe they got to have a lot of water profits with spending all that water for fighting those fires. I wonder if it works that way. Interesting, right? It's like the generator. Remember Generac, GNRC? We knew that we didn't know. Thank God we had some people in the room pointing out that GNRC was a great call on the fires, and these are where those fires were really catching on, and everything was set up here, and then pushed higher and pushed higher and pushed higher, and still kind of grinding higher. So that water company here, I'm curious. I want to look into that. I wrote it down, CWT. Lower trend line, bounce, reversal candle, oversold. It is an HPS setup off a recent. Everything looks great on this. 200 period moving average balance zone right above us. I think you get a point on it. Any way you want to take it. CWT. Mark it down. I did. Doing some more scans here, and I'm just turning this on when I see something to kill two birds here with one stone. Just writing it out. We see this sideways consolidation with no reaction. The stochastics actually pushing higher, but the price is not really going higher from this point on. We moved up here, we got overbought, and it's almost just feels like the downside. There's more power to the downside at this point. We had a hard time getting through this, so look for this possible short action, kind of extended up here. You could probably even read this into an inverted, I mean not even inverted, but a real head and shoulders pattern. A real head and shoulders pattern has that, that top, the left shoulder, the top, the right shoulder, and that, again, remember how we talk about that. Those are formed by channels. Usually the top of the channel is the head, as you can see right there. And then the shoulder is a breakdown and a retest of the channel. Now, I'm not seeing the real wide channel line here, if you were considering that right there. But we're having a hard time with it. I do expect this to kind of break down. $770. Oh, my God. Anyway, there's your short. With a stop above that shoulder high, which is $792. So it's like a 20-point swing there. But the downside here does look good. I mean, that's definitely something that's interesting looking at this with the options stuff. So I'm going to write that down. We'll probably look at that Monday a little bit closer. Well, it looks good. It has everything you want to go for. That channel breakdown, the rotation with no action on the price level, big candle today, volume picking up to the downside, safety, with a stop above that recent candle, even though it is close to 20 points. But I will look at the options on this. Let's do it right now. Why not? I could do it on this chart. I mean, it's just so, they're going to be so kind of pricey here. How far do we want to go out? All right, so we'll go into December 20s, right? December 20s. And we're going to look at the puts here. Puts only. Yeah, they're pretty. Now let's take a look at the 7. We'll start with the 760s, which are $8 to $12. Not much volume on these at all. Nothing on these. The volume is zilch. No activity either. Man, picked the wrong person to dance with. All right. Well, anyway, you got my call on that. I think we have some downside. Talking about $700 stocks, look at where Sherwin-Williams is here, right under $600. You could easily see that as a $700 stock. Just saying. Just saying. Let's go to the next one. All right. Want to touch base on Boeing. Boeing is great. I mean, everyone feels that it's going higher. It's just taking its time now, but the low was here 330. We expect that to be the low. I don't expect that to be retested. It is having some good news flow recently. We're breaking out. Wanted to see this move higher. I think 380 is a doable next week, possibly even more. 379 to 380, maybe even early in the week, and then we had 390. But this eventually is going back up to the highs. So I mean, that's just the nature of the beast here, and this is a good company, and it's, ran into a little issue there, if you want to call it a little issue, but nothing that's going to hold it back, and it's going to make a better company out of it, and people, this is definitely going to go higher. The timing for traders is the big thing. When do you want to get these big moves? Now, we got these big moves going for us now. So I'd like to see this follow through. I'd love to get a gap up on Monday and take it from there. But it does look great. Even this one came back. It was an HPS setup on a divergence back here. Pull back to the trend line, off to the races. We're getting extended, but momentum is on our side. Volume starting to pick up. New week next week. Let's get this thing going a little bit further. I love it. Love it. Same thing with the Roku. We were in and out of Roku this week. Of course, I took it off. Well, look at this thing. We got in, I think, on Wednesday and took it to Thursday. These 2 big days. Really nice trade on it. But then it went Thursday and Friday, and then finally broke out, and all-time highs right above us. And all the streaming warfare and talk is just, and Disney Plus, and the announcement of their having millions of subscribers in the first couple days. All the benefits Roku. And look at this thing come back. And why would you expect this to stop? By the next pullback. I don't know if I'm going to be chasing it here, but it's a great stock to trade in the room. Usually we start off the day and it just starts to run. Start off the day, it runs and then it consolidates, and it's consolidated most of the day. So we get a little gap down on Monday. You probably want to take this long unless there's news that is causing that gap down. If there's no news and it's just market fluctuation, and this has a little gap down or moves down, it should push higher. At least get some kind of new high before we break down. Looks good. We'll be on the main page on Monday. It'll be up there on the charts, main charts. I like to be able to scalp that one on a gap down. All right, before we wrap it up, I do have a lot of new stocks that I want to just bring to your attention. We're going to go through like a lightning round right here, and I want to give a shout out to Vinny out there, who helped me out this week by sending me his research list, and he's taking some of the HPS concepts and doing scans, and a lot of traders do that, and that helps me out a lot because we don't want to miss anything great. Because that is like easy money. So I appreciate people who send in their setups as long as they fit the criteria of the HPS, of divergences, flags, bull and bear sides, short divergences, long divergences, bull and bear flags, and then like the 1, 2, 3 channels and stuff. If you have those and you see those and I don't mention those, I would love to mention them on the list. So I got a lot here that Vinny brought to my attention. We're going to run through some of them that I like. Now, this one actually is a Maximilian. He liked this one going into next week, EXPE. Just a nice pullback. It got beat up pretty good on the gap down, and it's about 5 to 7 day pullback and starts to get all the selling out of it. Selling just kind of dried up. So we're going to look for a bounce back. A bounce back on that one. And again, same situation. When you have that downtrend, a series of lower lows and lower highs, you want to really concentrate on a higher high to take that entry. So you might want to watch Max for that one in the room. The next week he'll be on that one. Motor. What do I have here? That must have been mine. That was Altria MO. Now this is from Vinny. Now Vinny I think he mentioned Altria as a possible divergence here. And what I actually would like to see these divergences at the top part of the pattern, meaning that at least have a 60-day high or a 60-day double top. Lots of times we'll get divergences, sell-side divergence on the first pop. Here's a beautiful kind of double bottom lower trend line, big buy-side divergence right here, and that's the one we'd like to get. And I'd rather have those sell-side divergences like here. Look at this. These are they pop up. They just pop up. You can see them very easily. And when you can see them, it's just a beautiful thing that comes to you after quite naturally. Let's see where we were looking at. We're just looking over here. So we have this high, a move back down, and a higher high in a reversal candle. But you can see the steepness in this divergence here between this. Even though it's holding above the 80 line, and technically we won't like to see something break down underneath the 80 line, the steepness of the divergence really matters there also. So that's a you could make an argument of taking that either way, and a double top over here and this divergence there, and a possible divergence here. There is a possible one here, but I'd rather have, and it does give us a little bounce. I mean, I'm not saying this is not a bad divergence, but I like divergences as more of an oversold, overbought area, really high up, at least a 60-day high, preferably. We're talking up the top part of a range. But we'll watch this one anyway. So, and the same thing here. We actually, another example of one he brought me is Google. And yeah, it's a possible divergence here. It's possible running divergence where we have three rips to a top. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. If this rolls over, that usually is a good top. But I tell you, I don't have the guts to go short Google. So I might pass on that. But nice call there. And Walmart here actually gave us a divergence, and it's a sell-side divergence also. So it's something else to watch. A big gap up and a follow-through day and a crossover. You could see easily yesterday was the sell-off and the follow-through today. Walmart. CL. Now we're starting to look at buy-side divergences that he sent in. So his is his buy-side. And I like Colgate-Palmolive. Look at a lot. We already had this one down as a divergence back here, and it started to move, and it's starting to move out. The rotation here is pretty okay. You can see the trend line is holding us back. The breakout would probably, again, I would just look at something above the recent high. And that recent high right now on Colgate is 66.74, so 66.75. I think I'm going to put that on the watch list. 66.75. I'll set that up on our charts for a buy trigger above that level. Just above today's high, because we did have some sell-in in it, and we had some volume and some sell-in. So, if we could actually recover that, that would be very bullish. So again, 66.75 would be the buy signal on that one, and that's still a follow-through of a divergence. There's also kind of kind of a nice little wedge pattern here too, with a lower trend line possible on a 1, 2, 3 pattern. So if it did break down and eventually got down here, but if we break higher, then we have a long. If it pushes back down, we also have a long down here. Not bad at all. I like that. Next one I have on the list is CLX, and sometimes certain stocks in the same sectors. This is personal products, household, consumer, defensive sector. We like to call this. A lot of times they'll be not leading the market. They'll be, these are kind of safety sectors where you tend to get more of a dividend payout. They're more of kind of a quote blue chip stock that holds steady over time, not as aggressive, high beta like the tech stocks. But they are actually great stocks to concentrate on divergences. As you can see back here, there was a perfect textbook divergence and a beautiful move out of a channel. Here, I don't know. I don't see the divergence as well. It's not really above that high. Here it was a little bit better, and you had not much of a follow-through. But here you had a nice steep divergence and a nice follow-through overall. We're very close. This could actually be a nice divergence. It's given us a divergence signal. As you can see, these signals only show up when the calculation is hit. So there was kind of a dual divergence area starting to set up here. You got to classify it as almost a perfect channel. So it's something to watch. So definitely something to watch. CLX, Estee Lauder, EL. Let's take a look at that one. Again, another nice, big, steep divergence on this perfect channel. Now, some of these I didn't bring to your attention, and this one was a really nice channel, an easy gap down, a very strong divergence at that point. And a breakout of that. That was a pretty good setup. Now we're up against that trend line. It's hard to go long here, but that divergence is a key divergence when you cross back up. It hasn't really taken off, but it does look pretty good. I mean, it hasn't finished its move yet, so we could get a breakout of the channel here. Estee Lauder, EL, Gilead, GILD. This is I haven't traded Gilead in a while. It's been choppy. It's been very hard to get a good trend going on it, other than the short-term ups and downs. And basically, we're just not seeing the real good setup on this. So this might be the first time we might be seeing a little bit of a divergence here. So maybe we finally have a breakout coming on this divergence. You can see it's a higher low, and it's what we call a mid-pattern divergence, where it's above the 20 and it's below the 80. It's inside that range. And like I said, I usually put a little bit more, positive ranking on something like this. So that's kind of interesting. Has some decent volume. It's been down here a while. It hasn't been doing much. But is this the signal that we want to go long? All right. So I'm going to circle that one. I'm going to circle it. We'll focus on it a little bit more next week. Mondelez, MDLZ. Again, a recent little divergence. I had this line here. I was looking at it. I said, well, I had it. I don't trade it. I'm going to pass on it. And Las Vegas Sands. Now we had a section for his flags. And remember, what's a great technique, that the video that you're getting with this video is this the perfect setup for flags. And I kind of really would love to see people take advantage of the futures. Now now that you have the MES, the micro futures, you don't have to be trading the big ES, where you could be up and down, multiple hundreds of dollars in a matter of minutes. This gives you a little bit better setup, and you can work your trade and learn the craft without putting as much to risk. And when I say that is, when we talk about flags, I was just talking about flags, we use that technique, the 2020 flag setup, like I mentioned earlier, and what this video is about, this setup. But this setup, the criteria on this, the pullback on the 20, the 60 stays embedded, the longer trend higher, works on multiple time frames. So the same rules there you would apply to a daily flag. And that's not that hard to set up. So let's go to our flags. And LVS is one of those. And again, you have a decent move and you have a consolidation back here. Now, what am I looking for? Now, I don't have the 60-10 on here, and I'm going to fix that for you in a second. But what I'm looking for is that fast rotation on the 20 and the price to hold the 20-period moving average. All right, let's take a look at something here. So what I did, and I haven't really looked at this technique on a daily as much. I do pay attention to the 20 rotation and the 20-period moving average. The 20-20 works. But what I just did here is I adjusted the lower stochastic band here to be a 60-10. Now that works great on the 1-minute chart because I know how I developed it. I know the calculation going into and how it represents the 5-minute time frame. The 60 period on a daily chart, well, that goes out much further. And I don't test it that much, but looking at it right now, I wanted to see what it looked like. It is holding above that 80 line, and that rotation here came down under 20 on the 9-3. So that is technically a 2020 bull flag. The price is holding the 20-period moving average. This is rotated back under 20, and this is holding above 80. And the higher that stays, the better that is. So technically a very nice bullish flag. I'd like to see, I circled it, like to see how it finishes out. I mean, there's so many stocks we could trade, but a lot of times we want to just follow certain techniques and get that testing done, especially on some new indicators and see how they work. But the 60-10, seems to be playing out well on this one on the daily. Let's take a look at the RHI. Here's another. I have another one. And again, same thing. Got that rotation on the 9-3, and we have this holding at 81, and we're holding the 20-period moving average. It's Robert Half, Internet, outsourcing. So we had a small little move, a little consolidation. Again, want to see if it performs that way. All right. Did I mention CW? I think I mentioned CW2 earlier in the video, but the California water, I have that one circled, and let's not forget that one with the candlestick. I just like this for a long, overall for a good. It's utility stock. It's not like that we're really aggressively getting into something like a utility stock and trading, but it does have all the criteria met for an HPS bounce, and I think you can get an easy buck on this. So I'll throw it in the balls in your court on this one. I might do something with this on Monday. I already have it circled. So Clorox or CL, Colgate, Las Vegas Sands, Gilead, everything else on the list. I mean, we got a lot set up for next week. Like to see the AUPH here continue to move higher, but if it does drop under that 5 level, I am going to be picking up some more. I did not get a chance today. It took off on me. I was taking care of my, I think, Boeing or something earlier this morning, but that's going to be it. I would like to see you guys, everyone who's not taking advantage of the futures, to get a futures account. You could open one up pretty cheap these days with a future, with discount futures broker. They have $500 margin. You can probably open up your account for a couple $1,000s. And you're set, and we'll start learning the system and just trade those flags and use the Rockbot to identify those if you need help on that. We have the Tradeometer and the Rockbot, very important tools, and these things outline these trades all day. Start off with the MES. I got a lot of tools for you. Give you a little spreadsheet telling you how many shares you should be taking, how to build up on that. But definitely, there's an advantage of being able to trade multiple, trading vehicles in this market, because when the stocks might not be setting up, the futures are always moving. And just like we did this morning, once we identify a textbook bear flag, there's your trade right there. You get used to taking something like this and this, get a couple points, 3 or 4 points, you're up to $100, $200, $300 in a day just trading the MES. Just on taking a couple high probability setups. And I say high probability setups, we're only trading the divergences and the flags. We're not saying, oh, this market's overbought and we're shorting it, because we're just taking a pattern and waiting for that pattern to come. Very easy to wait for that. Even very close to a pattern, you'll start to realize that what we call closing double bottom, where that candles are left here, but the closing body is very close compared to this. It becomes an obvious divergence, especially if it's seen on both the 14.3 and the 9.3. So these are the trades you're going to be taking. Very easy to put a stop under all these, and that's basically the whole technique. And you should be making money. Disciplined patience is that's the key. The key to this. Discipline to wait for those setups. Patience to wait for those setups. Discipline to take those trades. All right. I hope you enjoyed this video. I just want to remind you that the RockBot, I've been working hard on that for the last 2 weeks, just working on a better signal, which is better for beginners. I know sometimes that 1 minute time frame could be very, that's real fast in action, and it gets in. But I have a 5-minute super signal which overlays the 1 minute. We got it working. I got it working. And now it's starting to post trades in the RockBot room. So you'll see it on the 5-minute chart. It'll say super signal right here. You can see it says super signal long. It'll take the trade. You'll see the trade go through, and it'll act just like like everything else. And those will be really, really good levels to trade. And we're going to be continuing to add next week. I'm going to have those running. I'll have the flags running. So the tradeometer, that's the next big thing, is tying it all together. But you get them both. Don't forget, you can get them both with the lifetime. Lifetime goes on sale for Black Friday. The week of Black Friday starts. Actually, I set the prices up. Already set the prices up today. So if you go to sign up, you get you'll see that there's $400 off that lifetime, and that gives you the RockBot for life. It gives you the tradeometer, day trading radio, the school of stock, everything involved. So it's an awesome deal. It's an awesome deal. You're not going to see that deal anymore. Here's the Black Friday sale. Again, we're doing it till Black Friday. And this is basically it. Lifetime package, complete trader development. What's important about that, you get all day trading radio. Never have to pay for that again. That's usually $49 a month. The RockBot, again, a lot of good stuff coming with that. That's already up and running. It's $49 a month. Tradeometer, again, that's you can have that on your own computer and run that. And the School of Stock, which is the courses that teach you this methodology. And there's 2 courses in there that are worth up to $750 if you got them both. So I've just imagined that for the sale price. Normally the lifetime is $1895.95. Again, for Black Friday, $1495.95. If you wanted to get the package of everything, we do offer it yearly, $17.99. So you can see how good of a deal that lifetime is. The monthly, if you want it all, except the School of Stock, that's separate altogether. But if you wanted that RockBot, day trading radio, and the tradeometer, it's $99 a month. Yearly, $799.95. But you could get that lifetime and never have to worry about it again. Sale price $1495.95. Take advantage of it. If you want to check it out, we have a 10-day special, but the sale will be over probably before that trial goes over. But that's always available if you want to come and experience day trading radio. All right, everyone. I'll see you next week, Monday. Same bad time, same bad place, 8 a.m. here at Day Trading Radio. Hope you enjoy this. This was a free version of the HPS Watch List. Typically goes to the members. I'll update the HPS Watch List, and that'll be updated by tomorrow with any of the new HPSs and the current ones that are active. And I think I'm going to take 1 or 2 off that seem to be out of range. But overall, great week of trading. Have a good weekend. I'll see everyone Monday.